thanks for tuning in here. It's been a while since I've done a video on some of my antique farm tractors. I've mentioned before in my videos since I've retired from the demolition derby that I've been taking an interest in getting into some antique tractor pulling. And you know, I bought some tractors, I've got some Farmalls and some Fords. Well, in this one right here, I'm going to be working on my 1940 Ford 9N tractor, working on the 3-point hitch in it. You know, they're notorious for having play in them, you know, especially as old as this one is. This definitely has some wear in it. So I'm going to be going through and try to make this hitch more rigid and make it better for doing tractor pull. When I pulled with it the last couple times, with it being not as rigid and tight and, you know, having that sway in it, it definitely does throw your pulling off a little bit. So we're going to try to tighten that up a little bit and make this tractor a little bit stronger. Because this tractor is going to be going out next week and I'm going to be pulling again. So like I said, this is all new stuff that I'm learning here. So this is what I'm finding out along the way, and being green to this, I'm starting out just like I did basically when I started out building derby cars, only it's with tractors. This is what my original 3-point Ford 9N hitch looks like right now before we even get started on it. So let's see how this turns out. Got my jack stands under each arm right now here, so I can get this mocked up where I want to put these arms at to move this in. I'm thinking probably right now I want to go in about 6 inches, shorten this up. About like so. I need to get a drawstring here so I can see where I'm at. I just took and ran me a piece of pink string here to the back of my tires right there, so I can see where the back of the tires are. Ultimately, I want my hitch so it's a couple 2 to 3 inches this back behind those tires there. As you can see how far the original arms stick out on this tractor. This is the repair arms that I picked up that I'm going to weld on my lower arms to shorten this hitch up on it. There's your part number right there if you're looking for this to do this yourself. Okay, so I originally said I'd like to take and move this 6 inches forward. Well, it's going to end up being about 8. So I got it squared up here on each side, and I also, when I measured, I went off the front tower up there where that arm bolts into, and come back here. I've got $18.5 on each side. Okay, now that's all mocked up and where I want it. I gotta take and clean the trailing arms up on it, get that all nice and clean so I can weld those drawbar arms on and we can hook that bar in and go to the next step. Well, I ran into a minor problem here as I'm starting to work on the stabilizer arms to go down to the drawbar. I found this on it. Somebody had took and welded these arms together and took that adjustment out of it, so now I can't slide them. So now it looks like I'm going to be making a set of custom arms here for this length hitch, and I'll have to buy some more arms for the original one. So running in a couple more snags here before I start welding this hitch up on here. Yeah, where someone took and welded that stabilizer rod together. If I get too far ahead of things and make a mess, I'm just going to start over with this, and I'm going to take and grind those welds off so I can get that stabilizer bar separated. And being they already ruined these, so I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to remake these to work with this hitch. Well, that's why it was welded. When I got it ground and split apart, it was broken right there. So must be something they just put together and welded out in the field, maybe in a pinch. No, it was an old weld, so it's been done for a while. Really, this whole deal here is I want to keep this hitch as factory as possible, but on the same token, I want to take and make it so it's universal. So I'm basically creating another place I can put the drawbar in if I want to for pulling as well. I can have it, you know, the bar in the stock location if need be. That way, if I put it in the spot I want to pull with, and I get up on the track and the track officials look at it and see where it's at, and they have a problem with it and have an attitude and don't like it, you know, they can't be like, "Hey, you can't do that." I'd be like, "Well, I did. Would you like me to put it in the original spot?" So that leaves that door open. I can still do that and I won't get disqualified and I can't run. Well, here's my brand new stabilizer arms that I just rebuilt right here. Wasn't happy about having to take and remake them, but I guess they were damaged anyway, so they're better and stronger now than what they were, so that's on a positive note. Alright, that's all welded up on there. The drawbar's on. Now the next thing I got to do is I'm going to put my clevis on. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that and how I'm going to attach this. This is my idea for that. Well, here's the mock-up, what it's going to look like right here. As you can see my string there, I got that drawbar right there at the edge of it, and my clevis down here. Well, that's going to stick out. Let me see, measure this real quick. So about 2 to 3 inches where I wanted it to be, so that's not too bad. And as far as the height, we're from the bottom of the bar, we're 18.5, 19.5 on the top of the bar, and rules are 18 to 20, so we're right there. Okay, and what I want to do is, this is on here, I got some spacers to shim it up, but I don't like it how it's like that. I'm going to take and weld this on this drawbar, and this is just going to become a pull and drawbar only anyway, so that way this is more rigid and it can't move side to side like that, and when you're pulling, kick the weight over the one side, and that can cause you to spin out and lose traction from what I'm told on this, and that was a problem I was having with it when I was pulling before. As you look right here, everything's pretty solid on this except for this part right here. I want to see if I can strengthen that up a little bit. I got an idea. Taking this piece of angle iron and running that to the back of the transmission right there and bolt to there. Run a bolt right down there and lock that, and of course bolt it up there just to give that some support. See what one does on it, and if it strengthens it up, maybe I'll have to put 2 on here, we'll see. Clevis is welded on. Now I'm just about done here. I got one more thing I want to try to make a little bit better on this hitch, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Well, I got that tightened up on a hitch now. I didn't end up going to the back of the rear axle like I showed. I ended up moving it to a different place here. It ended up working out better. I'll show you. There was a bracket that came off that rear fender mount right there. I just took and ran that piece of angle iron from there down here, and I just put a U-clamp on here and tightened this down, and it's a lot more solid now. That did the trick. So we'll run it and see how it does with us that one bar, and if it don't work out so good, I can always add a second one on it. Well, there's the end result of the hitch here, all done and finished on here. So I'm pretty pleased how it come out. it's exactly the way how I pictured it would look, so that's good. These new arms that built here come out real nice, and you know, they're reinforced. I laid a bead of weld all the way down right here on both sides, so this to give it a little more strength and rigidity. And look here, and she's solid now when you stomp on it. So yeah, we'll pull with it, and that will be the test on it. I'll have to do a follow-up video on this and report how well it did. Here's a closer look of what these new repair arms look like on here. I flipped them on a 90 and I welded them with the angle side out. I thought with it being like that, it would utilize and put more strength on all four of, you know, your lower arm, this one, and that as well. Instead, I thought if you flipped it around and put it the other way, it would be pulling more down on the tractor. So we'll have to see how that theory works on it. And again, here's that angle iron, how there's a bracket that was up off that fender mount bolt that I connected to, and this got a U-bolt and connected it to this lower trailing arm right here. So hey, boy, that sure turned out to be more work than what I anticipated it would be, but hey, it's a lot nicer now. It's definitely a lot stronger. I do definitely think it's an improvement from where I started from. Where it was, it's definitely more rigid and tighter. So like I say, this tractor is going to go out in a week, and I'm going to do some tractor pulling with it, and we'll see how well the tractor responds with this upgrade on it. So thanks for sticking around and checking this out with me. Until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Take care.